Let's get the Final Four championship and champion. Garrett, you lead off.
Yeah, so boring. I have UConn, and then I got Houston, um, and then I have Tennessee coming out of that region. I just couldn't take Purdue, and that's not really me being biased. I think it's partly because of the officiating in the Big Ten. They just give Edie like every call, it seems like, and they're just the Big Ten refs are kind of more uh they just call way more fouls. I feel like it's just that there's the flow of the game's bad compared to other conferences, and I think if Purdue's not once they stop getting calls on Edie, they're not really gonna know what to do. Um, and yeah, I have Tennessee over them in the Elite Eight. And then the one region, the bottom left region, is the one that I hate. I feel like this could be a chaos region. Um, I have Zona coming out of that. Um, and Zona's, I think, was a first round exit at the last two tournaments. So that's, yeah, I might change that one, but yeah, I have Arizona there.
And then let's get
Uh,
your
yeah,
championship and then champion.
sure. Yeah, UConn over Tennessee in my championship.
Alrighty, Mr.
Love it.
Corey.
Yeah, I'll take UConn out of the East region. That team has just been so good. Even when they go on scoring droughts, you just blink and turn around and they're up by 15 points. So I did take UConn out of a pretty tough region. I went back and forth on this a lot. I actually ended up taking Kentucky over Houston in the Elite Eight. In the South region. I've loved Houston all year, but lack of depth is a little bit scary. So I am gonna hope that Kentucky can turn it on. And then in the West region, I am going to take North Carolina. I think losing that championship game in the ACC championship is really going to light a fire under them, especially against NC State, their in-state rival. I love that team. I think RJ Davis and Armando Bacot are about to leave, and I think that they just have a little bit more moxie than some of the other teams in that region. And then the last one, I do have Creighton going. I love Ryan Kalkbrenner, love Baylor Shireman. I just love the way that that team plays. I think there's not a lot of teams that are really going to slow them down unless, they are going to have to get through Tennessee. But I do think that Creighton's going to be able to get past Gonzaga in the Elite Eight if they play against them. And then I have UConn over North Carolina, Kentucky over Creighton. And then I'm also on UConn as a champion. Just really, really hard for me not to pick that team. They're just so ridiculous. And yeah, big Husky fan.
Mr. Manella.
Not to sound all chalk or to completely copy what Corey just said, but for everything he just said, that's the reason I have the Huskies coming out of the East. I have Zona coming out of the West. Those two are going to match up in the Final Four. From the South, I have the Golden Eagles from Marquette making their Final Four. And I actually have Kansas, believe it or not. And it pained me physically to write that in, but I just couldn't think of a way where they don't. I have them just edging out Creighton to get there. My championship matchup, I'm going with the Huskies again. They edge out the Golden Eagles by, I think, like 5 or 6 points.
Big East. Love that. Mac, do we
McCain
have an
vocal.
update on an update on Kolek yet? Is he gonna play?
I'm sure he's probably gonna play. I would guess he was probably ready a game or two ago, and they're just playing it extra safe. I that's my best guess, but I don't think there's an official update. I think
Yeah.
Shaka got asked about it, and he had kind of a snarky answer, like, "Are you gonna ask me like every 5 seconds about this or something like that?" But
Did they say he's practicing at least?
I'm not sure. I know it's oblique, so it's like that's a really tough one. It's like I think that like fucks with like your breathing and stuff like that too. So,
Mhm.
but he's been out for a good while, so I would hope that he's like healed up now. We'll see. I do surprisingly I do like how they've played without him though. They've showed some depth for sure, and I actually think Cam Jones is the best player on the team, but that's neither here nor there. My final four, I've got UConn versus North Carolina for East West. And then I've actually got Duke versus Gonzaga for the other side. And then I've got UConn over Gonzaga in the ship. I just think, I mean, having watched UConn and played them a bunch, it's like that team is just nasty. And it's obviously like I watch Big East more than anything else. So that's probably a somewhat biased answer, but I don't know. That UConn team is just it's so good.